Wine, it's not just a drink. For centuries, it has been a symbol of status, history, and human artistry. But some bottles go far beyond being luxurious, they are treasures. Priceless liquids that capture not just the flavor of grapes, but the soul of entire civilizations. Today, we explore the rarest wines ever sold, bottles so valuable, so extraordinary. They're considered liquid gold in a bottle. Let's pour into this world of wealth, mystery, and taste beyond imagination. When you think of luxury, your mind might go to cars, diamonds, or private jets. But for the true elite, rare wine holds a different kind of magic. It's not about showing off, it's about owning a piece of time. Each drop carries the story of a vineyard, a year's climate, the soil, and the hand of a winemaker long gone. These bottles aren't just expensive, they're history preserved in glass. Let's begin with one of the most legendary bottles ever, the Screaming Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon 1992. This California wine shocked the world when a single bottle sold at auction for $500,000. Why? Because it represented a revolution. Until then, most million-dollar wines were European, from France or Italy. But this Napa Valley creation proved that New World wines could rival the old. With a limited production and a taste profile described as silky perfection, it became the most sought-after American wine ever bottled. Then comes the Chateau Lafite 1787, possibly the most controversial wine in history. This bottle was supposedly owned by Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and a known wine connoisseur. Engraved with the initials Th.J., it fetched an astonishing $156,000 in 1985, and could have sold for far more if not for one shocking twist. Experts later questioned its authenticity. Was it truly Jefferson's wine? Or an elaborate fake? Regardless, the myth around it made it legendary. Even today, it remains a symbol of how powerful storytelling can elevate a bottle's worth beyond measure. Next, we travel to France for the 1945 romanée-conti, often called the Holy Grail of wine. Only 600 bottles were ever produced, marking the final vintage before the vineyards were destroyed by disease. Each sip was described as liquid velvet, an almost spiritual experience. In 2018, a bottle of this legendary Burgundy was sold for $558,000, setting a new world record. To collectors, it wasn't just wine, it was the last breath of an era. But rarity isn't always about age. Sometimes it's about tragedy and time. Take Heidsieck & Co. Monopole 1907, Shipwreck Champagne. In 1916, a ship carrying thousands of bottles sank in the Baltic Sea. Decades later, divers recovered them, perfectly preserved in the icy waters. When tasted, the wine still sparkled with life, as if frozen in time. One of these bottles sold for $275,000, not just for the flavor, but for the unbelievable story that came with it. Imagine drinking a wine that survived both a world war and a century beneath the ocean. And then, there's the Cheval Blanc 1947, one of the most celebrated wines ever produced. This vintage came from one of the hottest years on record, forcing winemakers to adapt their methods. The result? A wine so rich, so sensual, that it was described as a miracle of nature. In 2010, a single bottle sold for $304,000. Collectors call it the Mona Lisa of wines, timeless, mysterious, and irreplaceable. What makes these wines truly fascinating isn't just the price tag. It's what they represent: time, passion, and impermanence. A luxury car can be rebuilt. A diamond lasts forever. But a wine, once opened, is gone forever. That's what makes it so poetic. You don't just buy it, you experience it. For a fleeting moment, you taste history itself. Behind every one of these bottles lies a human story, of the farmers who tend the vines, of the wars that almost destroyed them, and of the collectors who protect them like treasure. Some bottles will never be opened. Others will be shared in secret rooms among billionaires, where every sip costs more than most people's homes. But all of them remind us of one truth: luxury isn't about money, it's about meaning. So, next time you raise a glass of wine, think about it. Maybe it's not the price, the label, or the age that makes it special. Maybe it's the story it tells, the memory it creates, and the journey it carries. Because the rarest wines in the world aren't just expensive, they are living art, bottled time, and liquid history. Cheers to passion, to patience, and to perfection. Because sometimes luxury really does come in a bottle.